trading journey, because when you know better, you invest better. Join us and experience the difference today. TFNN, educating investors.
The following is a presentation of TFNN. Trade what you see with Larry Pesavento. Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648 or internationally at 727-873-7618. Now, Larry Pesavento.
Okay, folks, I'm going to try to go over this again. Evidently, the chart didn't post. This is from the high we made back on the 3rd when the Dow went to 47,000. We went down to 45,600 on Friday. You can see we're having a roughly 700-point rally. It's above the 382 right now, and I'm hoping you'll be able to see this. But if we take the high that we made last Friday and put that number in, you're going to be seeing we're sitting almost exactly at the 61% retracement. About another 80 points in the Dow will be hitting that level right there. Now, the tricky part happens to be is that we're going to see if I can move the other charts up so that you can see them one at a time. Now, here's the Russell. Hopefully, you'll be able to see that. Al, would you please let me know that you can see the Russell now? And then we'll see if we can go from there, because we hit almost the exact 382 on the Russell. It dropped 30 points after the close, folks. Look at this, the action on Friday. It dropped 30 points. This was after the close. And then, of course, it opened, 50, 60 higher, and now we're almost 90 points higher already. And who knows where it's going to go. You can see it's making a small ABCD pattern here, but it's really taken off. That's because of one person saying something. Oh, there's probably other. Oh, there was $1 billion, $2.5 trillion promised by JP Morgan, and somebody else, Broadcom, got another 500 billion or whatever it was for AI. So there were other reasons for it also. So this looks like it's probably going to go up forever, and maybe it does. But we happen to be in the Dow Jones, and I have to get through this today because one day does not make a bull market. And I want to be able to assure that we can do this. Now I'm going to try to look at the E-mini S&P, because here again, we did pretty much the same thing. Now you can see the low here on the S&P. All I'm going to do now is to switch this over to the hourly chart. And I believe you'll be able to see, whoops, it's got to be the 4-hour because it was farther back. And there's your low right here. We took these lows out. I'm just going to bring this over and show you where we were, folks. Get this out of the way. You go all the way back here to August, just like we did. And look where the 382 came in on Friday at 68.03. And here's where we are now. We're rallying 100 points. So these are numbers that are coming up. It's not just the fact that, the president said something. It's the fact that probably was a really good bottom. All that did was verify it. So don't blame anybody on anything, because that, even though I was short, that's it. And I still think we're going to go down, but how much we're going to rally from here, we could get even a bigger rally. Let's just look at it right now, because I almost believe we're right at the 61% retracement of this move from the high that we made right back here. No, we're just a little above the 50%. That's where we are right now. And so that's what we're paying attention to right here. Now, we're also following the NASDAQ. Now, we don't trade it too much, but I'm going to get the NASDAQ up here and take a look at it and, see here's where we are. There's the NASDAQ. We had the big drop in the NASDAQ. Now, let's see if the same thing happened with the NASDAQ. We'll get the 4-hour, go back to August. Okay, there's August way back here. Where are we at? August, come on, here we are. There's August way back here. So let's see what we did here with that. I covered this in the video over the weekend and also in the newsletter, and there it was. There was your exact low. So you can't say that that wasn't coming. Now the question is, where do we go from here? And that's going to be a real interesting thing, because we've got some big topping stuff in here, but every day someone comes out with something new. And so we have to be really careful what we're looking at as we're watching some of these things. Okay, I think we've covered the Russell, we covered the Dow Jones, and we covered the NASDAQ. So I think we've covered those pretty good. Now let's get on to where the pedal meets the metal, folks. History is being made today because we're going to be looking right now at the weekly chart of silver. And silver, believe it or not, folks, has taken out the high that we made way back here. This was in August of 2011. The high in silver at that time had been $50. It hit $50. And today we hit $50.63. Okay, so it's made a new high up into this area off of that high right in there. You can see after that big run, it had a little bit of a correction. It went from 50 all the way down to 12. And this is where we are right now. Looking at this intraday, we'll just bring this up here so you'll be able to see it. There's the action from last night. And of course, we've made new highs, and that's where we are right now. Look at that hourly chart, I think is what I was watching. Yeah, see, the hourly did go up, and it did make a new high up into this area right here. So now let's take a look at the gold market, because we had some ideas, faulty ones I might add, that, hold on, let me get this thing straightened out, window tile vertical, so I can get the gold chart up, because it had some good information for us today, and it was tradable. Let's just get up here, and I want to show you here. This is the 60-minute chart on the gold. All right, now this was a $100 drop, folks. This was a $100 drop in 2 days. From the 8th to the 10th, it dropped $100, and that looked like it was the high. Remember that chart that I showed you before? Well, guess where the low was? Exactly 382 after a $70 drop. That was the biggest drop we had up until this one. All right. That was exactly 382 right here. Now, if you go down to the 8-minute chart, this is what was really interesting last night, because there was the high, okay? You see it, a high right there? That once that took that out, see, it pulled back. It actually, this thing dropped, it dropped $40 an ounce to exactly 382 of the low that we had intraday on Friday. That was right before the market closed. Comes right to exact 382. And the ABCD with the 1.618 measures to 41.31, and the high today has been 41.37. Within $7, we're now trading at 41.23. I'm not saying this is a high. I'm just saying that's just a pattern. But once we went above here, look at that. Once you broke out of the new high, it never looked back. If you bought it at a new high, it just kept on going. And it looked at tiny ABCDs all the way through here, but it just kept on going. So you don't want to stand in front of it when it does that. As soon as it went above this, and I've shown that picture so many times, I don't want to show it again, but it goes back to November of 24. Well, I can do it now. You just know that there was a big number up there at 41.81, hit it twice. And actually, there it is right there. There's both times. And so that's why we were paying close attention to it, okay? So anyway, that's what we're watching here this morning along with this. Now, also wheat, I got down to $4.95, and it looks like people are going to stop eating bread, pasta, and cookies. That's what it looks like. But we'll take a look at that right now before we have our break coming up. And hopefully we have a little time to bring it up to everybody to see it. Oh, I wanted to show something else. I've got a couple other charts here that really, one is the DAX, but let's do the wheat next, and then we'll take the break, and then we'll be right back. Okay, so stay tuned.
Sharpening your skills as an investor is like getting better at playing a musical instrument. You have to practice, sure, but you also need excellent instruction from experts. At TFNN, you'll get advice and guidance from the authority in technical market analysis. And it's not just dry, tedious text either. TFNN airs live financial content streamed live on TFNN.com and TFNN's YouTube channel with Tiger TV, live every market day from 8:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern, for free. Each host is an experienced trader and gives their take on the market while taking calls and questions live from around the world. From the moment the market opens until the closing bell sounds, Tiger TV has 8 different shows with expert hosts to help you make the right moves with your money. Watch online at TFNN.com or on TFNN's YouTube channel and become the investor you were born to be. TFNN, educating investors.
Many trading newsletters attempt to focus on a narrow set of equities or commodities. While this works for some, it oftentimes misses many opportunities that possess huge gain potential. But how is an independent trader supposed to scan the entire market looking for these hidden opportunities? One simple answer: the opening call newsletter. Basil Chapman, developer of the Chapman Wave trading methodology, has been trading the markets for longer than most trading influencers have been alive. And over that time, he has honed his methodology in order to accurately call movements in a wide range of equities, from semiconductors to uranium to key indices and so much more. Basil is old school, taking the time to educate the trader while also giving his insights into key indices, selective stocks, and more. Opening call subscribers also receive access to dozens of educational live streams that can be accessed at any time for your edification. All first-time subscribers receive a 30-day money-back guarantee. So ignore the pop trading influencers and start learning time-tested technical analysis.
The reality is that navigating financial markets can be risky. Markets can be chaotic and difficult to understand. Having the latest market advice can help you turn this chaos into a key for creating winning trades. At TFNN, we understand that it can be hard to find reliable market news. That's why each of our market experts offers their very own market newsletter, a must-have tool for every trader out there striving to find an edge in today's markets. TFNN newsletters cover every aspect of the markets so you can analyze the market before you trade. Try any of our great newsletters risk-free with our 30-day money-back guarantee. Just visit the Newsletters tab on the front page of TFNN.com. TFNN, educating investors.
Okay, folks, so this is the chart of the German DAX. As you can see, it had a really strong opening and went right up to the 382, stayed there for 2 hours, and then has backed off. The same thing is true if we take a look at the Hong Kong market, which has been closed for a while. Hold on one second. We'll get this up here. It's with an H. There it is right here. Let me get the daily up so we'll be able to see it easily enough. Hold on one second, because some markets are having some little bit of a problem. You can see here we had a pretty big break here these last few days here in the Hong Kong market. Remember, we had that big number way up here at that. Well, it went above it. When 26,000 was the number, went to 27,400 on that long-term weekly. And but that's started to turn around. You can see there's a little something going on right there. In fact, I think our market would probably be down quite a bit if it weren't for the fact that they've supposedly cleaned up those problems that we have with China. Okay, we'll get this out of the way. And the next one we want to take a look at is Tesla. And you can see Tesla, we had a big break here. We went from 470. We came all the way, dropped $80. And so far, what we've done is we've made just a little below the 382 of the high that we made right back here. Let's see what the 382 on the big move would be if we were to mark that off just to see where we are. Okay, so I'm of the opinion that this is an event that is transcribed by someone that meant something, our president. And folks, you know, several people ask me if we've had presidents do it. Ronald Reagan did it. I mean, he did it back in 1981 in January. I told you what happened. It went up to July of 81 and then came right down into August of 82. We started trading the S&P on April the 16th of 1982. I'd been on the floor for 4 months. There was nobody in the pit. There were 4 people. Leo Malamed had to pull us out of the T-bill pit to go over to get our pictures taken for the magazine, because there was nobody in the pit. It was trading at 103. And it's got as high as 138. Stop and think, that was a big move, 103 to 138 for the next couple of years. And that's when the Dow broke out of 1,000. It had been there since 1974. And that was the big move, and it's been going up ever since. So there's where we are right now with the Tesla. Now, we've also had a question about one other stock, and boy, I hope I can remember. It's Goldman Sachs, because their earnings are coming out here. Just give me a second here. It's been earnings tomorrow, and so since hold on one second. We'll get up here. There's where we are. You can see having a pretty good rally here today. That's one of the reasons why the Dow Jones is up so much, because you've got Goldman Sachs is up. Wow. Let me show you on the daily, folks, how much this is up. You'll see why the Dow Jones is crazy. Look at this. From 64, that's up 120 points. Is that right? Yeah. Are they 64 to 1? Yeah, it's 120 points in Goldman Sachs today. Now, you wonder why the Dow Jones is up? Well, that's your reason right there. You can see the gap and away it went. So this is where, one thing happens. An interesting story is back in those days, Goldman Sachs and Salomon Brothers, oh my God, they was arch rivals. The Salomon Brothers was bigger than Goldman Sachs, as I remember. I better not say that, but I think that's what it was. But when Henry Kaufman said something, it really did really. And I have a Henry Kaufman story that I got firsthand from somebody who was at the meeting. They were discussing that back in the late 70s whether if Salomon Brothers was going to go into junk bonds like Drexel Burnham had done, and also Goldman Sachs. And the meeting was there, and there were about 20 directors in the room there, and Jerry Pimpkin, who was one of Bob Miner's friends and also someone I also knew, he was the PhD that worked with Henry Kaufman for 4 years while he was on Wall Street. And so they did a vote and everything, and it came back that Salomon Brothers was going to go in to junk bonds. And Henry Kaufman stood up and he said, that's interesting, because if you decide that that's what you want to do, then my partnership is going to be for sale for 60 cents on the dollar that anybody wants to buy it. And the vote changed, and they never went into junk bonds. And that is a true story, because I heard it from somebody who was at the meeting. All right, anyway, that's how powerful Henry Kaufman was. And you want to hear something, folks? Are you ready for this? You got to sit down. Henry is still alive. He's 98 years old, and he's still lucid. And I know because Jerry talks to him once in a while, but he's still alive and doing pretty well for 98. He's day trading pork belly. Well, didn't say stuff like that, but no, he's still alive, and that's good. All right, let's take a look here at a couple other things. We've covered the silver, we covered the gold. Let's go at crude oil, because he had a beautiful. Oh, let's do the euro first, because that's one that's really working nicely for us. Hold on here right now. And we'll get up here. There's the crude oil. Last night, you see, we went right up to the 382, hit it twice again, right there to 163, and look, it's still coming down. So this is still in a bearish mode, still acting the way that it should be, okay? So we got that one out of the way to cover that. And we get back here. I'm just trying to look around to see where things are going, because once this thing settles down, if it does, and I could be wrong, maybe it's going to go up forever. That's always that possibility. But I really think we're looking at something that is going to be really, really nasty, only because there's so much margin debt out there, folks, that it makes it just really, really super tough to do this. Let's get this crude oil here last night. There's, you see, we went right up to the 382 here on Friday. We did the same thing here. We tried to make that right here. We missed it by a heartbeat this morning. I'll show you from the high down here to the low. Came almost exactly to it, misses it by about 15 pips, backs off, and that's all it's done. If you do get it up here at 60.31, I still think that's a good sale, because this is a bearish thing. You can see the 382 here, 382 here. It's still bearish, so I don't see any reason why we can't go short there with a stop above here. That's what I would think, because we're trying to sell into weakness in a market that's going down, and we still think, looking at this on the long-term daily, that we got more to go. You can see 57.02 here, 57, 56. So somewhere between, we'll just call, there's the old lows back here at 56. So we'll say the first stop will be 57. We'll see if it holds there. But frankly, we'll have to wait and see. Now, that'll be an interesting one, because you see at that point, you're going to be right at an ABCD. Let's draw that in completely. Hold on one second here. There's your AB leg right there. There's your CD. And that comes in there right roughly at 57, just like this one does. So should be really strong support at 57, 56.89. Okay, so that's what we're watching here in the crude oil this morning. Okay, now let's move over to the British pound. Someone has a question. First of all, I wanted to bring something to your attention here in the Dow Jones. I watched the Dow Jones, folks, because the Goldman Sachs is running the show over there today. It's up $100 and some. I mean, you don't find any, there's only, how many Dow stocks? There's only, of the 20 Dow, of the 30 Dow stocks, only 20 of them are triple digits, okay? And Goldman Sachs is 7 times triple digits, 8 times, because it's trading at 800. So it's a non-weighted average. They're not cap weighted, they're price weighted. They're weighted by the price. Now there's our 382. We're back to the 382 again. We went a little bit above it, but about 100 points, and there's where we are right now. When we take this out, it's lights out, because that's when the thing is going to really excel. Any market that drops $1,200, okay, that's okay, and a rally back, that's okay. But if it gets back up here, then I'm totally wrong. And what I'm planning here is I have to, we sold it right here, folks. And I'm still short. I sat through that whole thing last night, and I sat there and watched it, and I looked at it, and I said, well, my hands are tied. And I said, I gotta do it, because I'm going for something that I think is going to be in the history books. That's what I think.
If you spend any time online researching trading techniques on how to begin your trading journey, you've no doubt come across many folks who push Forex trading as a way to make big money quickly. Unfortunately, there are equally as many stories of these so-called Forex professionals just looking to make a quick buck off aspiring traders without actually teaching the ins and outs of the Forex market. This is what sets Teddy Keckstad's The Tiger Forex Report off the riffraff. Every Monday, former Chicago Mercantile Exchange member and author Teddy Keckstad releases his Tiger Forex Report newsletter, where he dives into the complex world of Forex and takes time to actually teach you his methods that have made him so successful in the fast-paced and rewarding world of Forex trading. Furthermore, all subscribers receive access to archived live streams of Teddy's, where he provides university-level education to help you in Forex trading. All first-time subscribers receive a 30-day money-back guarantee. So what are you waiting for? Forex awaits.
In the world of trading, only a few names stand out like Larry Pesavento, a pro's pro with over 50 years of experience. Larry has seen it all. A former Chicago Mercantile Exchange member, Larry has authored 10 books and trained over 1,000 traders with his unmatched expertise. Introducing Fibonacci 24/7, Larry Pesavento's daily trading service that turns the complexity of markets into opportunities. Published every Sunday, receive a comprehensive report packed with detailed commentary, charts, and videos that illuminate the patterns shaping the markets, with updates throughout the week exclusively for subscribers. Whether through charts or videos, Larry's analysis is your roadmap to navigating the markets. You can sign up now at TFNN.com for just $97. And with all TFNN newsletters backed by a 30-day money-back guarantee, you have nothing to risk. For all the details, visit TFNN.com. You'll find Fibonacci 24/7 right under the newsletters tab.
Are you ready to take charge of your financial future? TFNN is your gateway to the world of trading and investing. Whether you're starting out or scaling up, TFNN empowers traders and investors of all skill levels with top-notch investing systems, strategies, and techniques. It's time to protect and grow your money with insight you can trust. Join us live Monday through Friday during market hours for exclusive content that moves with the markets. At TFNN, we bring the trading floor to you. Our seasoned hosts are here to answer your calls and questions live on the air. Check out the Tiger's Den for just $1 and follow us on YouTube and become part of our vibrant community. And remember, at TFNN, we're so confident in the value we provide that we offer a 30-day money-back guarantee on all new premium newsletter subscriptions and services. You have absolutely nothing to risk, so why wait? Tune in live to Tiger TV and transform your trading journey, because when you know better, you invest better. Join us and experience the difference today. TFNN, educating investors. This portion of Trade What You See is brought to you by Direxion's daily leveraged and inverse ETFs. Whether you're a bull or a bear, you choose the direction. Visit Direxion.com. Investing in the funds involves significant risk and should only be utilized by investors who understand the impact of leverage and actively monitor their portfolio. They are not designed to track the underlying index or security for more than a day. Before investing, carefully consider a fund's investment objective, risk, charges, and expenses contained in the prospectus available at Direxion.com. Read carefully. Distributor Foresight Fund Services, LLC.
Okay, folks, we're going to be looking here at the E-mini for just a second. I wanted to point out something from early this morning. We had the news, and then market gapped up a great deal. It gapped up, I think, 40 points. Now we've been up over 100. We're 101 higher right now. But in the middle of the night, in fact, right before the open, you can see we had just made a 382 retracement right here. That led to this ABCD that was right there. Now remember, I'm looking at a small time frame, but that's your ABCD measured nicely. If you go down to the 8-minute, you'll be able to see the ABCD. That's what I try to do, folks. I try to find patterns that give you a pretty good chance, to finding the things that you're looking for. So there's your AB right there, and there's your CD leg right there. It goes up to 05. Oh dear, what happened here? Sorry about that. And the high happened to be at 10. So it went 5 points higher, and there it is right now. So whether this means anything or not, I don't know. I just look at ABCDs everywhere, just at all times. That's what I'm looking for, is ABCD, because that tells me where I am as far as, what I'm trying to find is what's working. Okay? All right, let's move on here. And let's go over to the British pound. We've had several people ask about the British pound because it's in the news all the time. Sometimes for spies, sometimes for other things. But here's our British pound. I haven't looked at it today, but it's still headed down. I've got to increase the data here, so just bear with me 1 second. I just have to refresh this over the last couple of days. And now you see we did come down and we made a new low. We had the high up into there was the original sell. You had the chance to sell it again right here, but we didn't do that, folks. We were in the euro. The euro was easier to see. We went through that several times, and that's why we were in the euro. And the euro is working the best of these. It's going down even faster. So that's the British pound. Now, the one that's in the news all the time is the Japanese yen. So let's take a look at that one. That's going to be interesting because the Japanese yen had a lot of history that goes back. Where is it? Oh, it's up here. Hold on a second. There it is right there. Hold on 1 second. There it is. I think it's it. Yeah, there we go. Let's get this up here and see if we're still going. Yeah, we backed off just a little bit. So we did make there's the daily. We did make the ABCD pattern to the upside. That was it right there. See, it measured to 53. High was 53 at 28, and the thing measured to 53,496, and that's where it stopped. But look at today's low, folks. This is the low from Friday when we had all that movement. What do you think that would be? Just looking at this, let's just do it from this one first, just to double check. No, it's going to be the secondary one because it's going to be a perfect 382, and that's what it usually will do. Hold on, take a quick look at it. And even then, it didn't even make a 382 on that. I thought that it would have. Let's get this thing set up straight. No, it missed it by quite a bit. 51. It missed it by over 40 pips, so that you can't really count that. But this is what we're doing today. And just go down to a smaller time frame and probably making a 61%. Well, we made a little bit of an ABCD pattern from the high. There's your high right here. There's your AB leg right here. CD takes you up to right about there. And that's what it's done so far. It hasn't even taken out the 50%. Still with a little bit of a downward bias, but actually not too much. Now, we've had a question about soybean oil because I keep watching that for a particular pattern that I still think haven't. See, the bean crop's being harvested, folks. So there's no more worry about that. That's going to be in the book here. But there's the number we're still waiting for in the soybean oil. Like I thought, with soybean oil, and that means people are not going to be using. It's up today, but there's a number we're looking at is 4838. There's a double ABC. Oh, this is drawn wrong. Hold on. It caught the wrong data. Hold on. Let's do these one at a time because we want to make sure we do it right. There's your AB leg right here. There's your first CD leg right there. We bought that one. We made well over $2,000 on that one. And then this is on the move down here from the AB leg to CD leg is going to take us right down here to that 4820. And so that's what the area that I'm looking at right here. Soybean oil is 20% of the soybean. It consists of all the stuff necessary for making paint, margarine. You can even use fuel for it, but there's so many uses for soybean oil. You just it was actually the Chinese invented it or made the hybrid of it, but Henry Ford went over there in the 1900s because he wanted to paint his cars something other than black, and there was not enough lacquer to make that because he was selling so many cars. So they found out that soybean oil was really good for paint, and that's how it all got started. And it became really popular in 1935 when it started being traded at the Chicago Board of Trade. Okay, now today is a very, very important day, folks. This is October the 13th. In the 13th century, this is when the Pope decided that he was going to dissolve the legendary, you're not going to believe this, for Knights of the Templar. And he slaughtered them all, with the exception of a few that got away. And of course, those of you that watch Ancient Aliens know that he got away with the Ark of the Covenant, and it's still buried there at Oak Island in Canada. And if you believe that, I still have those same 2 shares of the Brooklyn Bridge. Folks, you're not going to believe this. I actually have shares of the Brooklyn Bridge. Shares that were traded. I bought them at auction many years ago. I didn't pay much for it. It's $50 for one. It was 5 shares, I believe. And it was, of course, they gone out of business for many years, but I paid $50. I had a picture of the Brooklyn Bridge. And back in those days, it was really like an art object. So I still had that. This was a little thing, memory thing. All right, that's where we are. Let's take a look at a couple other things that we're watching here this morning. Let me get my thing hooked up here with the charts to make sure I don't, because I had several things that people have asked me about, but as I start the show, sometimes I forget. I covered Goldman Sachs, I covered the Euro, covered the YM. These are the main ones that I wanted to cover. Broadcom, that's the one that was in the news quite a bit. AVGO, hold on a second, folks, because that is up like 10 or 12% today. And it's one of the Heavenly Seven, it's one of the MAGAs. So let's get the daily up on this, and you'll see it has a monster move today. Well, it ain't that big. Well, I guess it is big, but this is the one that's in the news. They put in $500 billion into AI, I believe, or something like that. It had something to do with AI. There's where we were on Friday. We were trading at $325. It's up $30. That's more than 10%. And you'll see from that high down to that low right there, it looks like we're above the 618 already, but you can see it opened right here, and it's gone up quite a bit since that time. Looking at this on a smaller time frame, those of you that, see, here's where it opened, and then wow, it just kept going up and up and up. So that's one when you're above the opening, you got a pretty good chance. When you're below the opening, you got a pretty good chance. So that's what the opening is good for. Watch to see what the position is doing 30 minutes after the market opens, and if it's below the opening, you want to be short. If it's above the opening, you want to be long. Just a rule of thumb that works relatively good. Okay. All right. Now we have one other question over here about a couple of stocks. I'll bring them up right now. One is Alibaba. Remember, we looked at that, and the 195. Let's see if it breaks. No, it never did. So let's get the weekly up because that's what we were watching. There was a weekly.
Many trading newsletters attempt to focus on a narrow set of equities or commodities. While this works for some, it oftentimes misses many opportunities that possess huge gain potential. But how is an independent trader supposed to scan the entire market looking for these hidden opportunities? One simple answer: the opening call newsletter. Basil Chapman, developer of the Chapman Wave trading methodology, has been trading the markets for longer than most trading influencers have been alive. And over that time, he has honed his methodology in order to accurately call movements in a wide range of equities, from semiconductors to uranium to key indices and so much more. Basil is old school, taking the time to educate the trader while also giving his insights into key indices, selective stocks, and more. Opening call subscribers also receive access to dozens of educational live streams that can be accessed at any time for your edification. All first-time subscribers receive a 30-day money-back guarantee. So ignore the pop trading influencers and start learning time-tested technical analysis.
In the world of trading, only a few names stand out like Larry Pesavento, a pros pro with over 50 years of experience. Larry has seen it all. A former Chicago Mercantile Exchange member, Larry has authored 10 books and trained over 1,000 traders with his unmatched expertise. Introducing Fibonacci 24/7, Larry Pesavento's daily trading service that turns the complexity of markets into opportunities. Published every Sunday, receive a comprehensive report packed packed with detailed commentary, charts, and videos that illuminate the patterns shaping the markets, with updates throughout the week exclusively for subscribers. Whether through charts or videos, Larry's analysis is your roadmap to navigating the markets. You can sign up now at TFNN.com for just $97. And with all TFNN newsletters backed by a 30-day money-back guarantee, you have nothing to risk. For all the details, visit TFNN.com. You'll find Fibonacci 24/7 right under the newsletters tab.
For traders who crave risk, Direxion's daily leveraged and inverse ETFs provide opportunities to magnify short-term perspectives with up to 3 times a daily leverage, utilize bull and bear funds from both sides of the trade, and trade through rapidly changing markets. These are highly leveraged ETFs with daily resetting designed for short-term trading, not long-term investing. Whether you're a bull or a bear, you choose the Direxion. For up-to-date pricing and performance, go to Direxion.com. Investing in the funds involves significant risk and should only be utilized by investors who understand the impact of leverage and actively monitor their portfolio. They are not designed to track the underlying index or security for more than a day. Before investing, carefully consider a fund's investment objective, risk, charges, and expenses contained in the prospectus available at Direxion.com. Read carefully. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC.
This program is brought to you by Vista Gold, traded on the NYSE American and TSX under the symbol VGZ.
Okay, folks, I'm just sitting here. I was glancing at Bloomberg over here, and I was seeing a gentleman that from Texas. He was a billion-dollar hedge fund guy back in the early 2000s and stuff, and had a little run of bad luck that we all have. He took 10 billion down to 300 million, and now he's reviving his program. And he's 67, and the comment that I just read was, I get better at this every day. And boy, I can certainly understand that, because I've been through some really rough periods. Well, that's not true. Well, I've had some periods where I did some things that probably weren't the correct thing to do, but rough periods, I haven't had any of those since 74. And that was my best trade, was when I lost all my money, because that's when I got the Gartley book and learned how to find these patterns. That changed everything for me. Now you can see now the Dow Jones is now below the 382 again. When we go below here, folks, this is going to be what's really tough, because that's when people are going to realize there's something wrong with that margin debt out there of over $1 trillion. That's the thing that you've got to be really, really careful of. You know, that you really do. There's just nothing you can do to say about that. Now, if someone's asked a question, to take a look at soybean meal, because I've always believed that, you know, soybean meal is one of the most important products, because it's all pure protein, 80% of the bean. And as you can see here, we're backed off again today. We're below that level that I always liked, which was 175. We're just a tiny bit below it right now. Here's where we are on the daily basis. Let's look at it on the 4-hour. But remember, now we're in harvest season now, and that is going to be, there's going to be harvest pressure coming in, because these farmers, they've got to get their money back, and so that's what they have to sell. And then after that's over, it starts to rally. So here's beans. There's where we are. Let's just see where we are, because I'm probably going to buy them today, if I think so. And nope, I want to get down to the 786 down in here and try it there. I bought it there, had a nice rally. You remember that was one that we did. Then from that time, you can see the soybean meal has come down to this level right here, and should get down to there one more time. There's the one I'm going to be watching for at 272. We're at 274 right now. I'll wait for that and see what happens. There's another small ABCD here, from that high to that low to that high, takes you into, you know, that looks like it just made it today. So that's not drawn very well, but we'll just move it over like that. Now, so tomorrow, hopefully we're going to have Mike Moore of More Analytics on as our guest. Hold on one second. I want to talk just a second about gasoline futures, folks. because they've been jumping around quite a bit. Now get the hourly chart up, and then we'll go to the other one because they're had a little bit moving to the downside. Of course, you can see this is what we've been waiting for, to see this thing get down a little bit more. It's just been a straight bear market. Mike Moore has been really bearish on this, folks, and you can see it keeps going down. Now, we did the crude oil because it's easier to trade for us. And you can see the last high we made was right there at the 382. Now it's trying to make a bottom down in this area over the last several days. This is from Friday's low. Here's where we are. It's doing very little, but it is trying to make a bottom. I would think it's going to have a little trouble on the first 382. Oh, I think we just made it. Hold on just a second. Let's just draw that up here. Yep, we just hit it just a little list a minute ago. Right on the money right there. It's down about 4 cents. So that's the crude oil. Since we're doing that, we might as well look at heating oil. Get that up here to take a look at. Folks, it doesn't make any difference whether it's heating oil, pork bellies, cattle, whatever. We'll do cattle next. But these are they all do the same patterns. You know, that's the whole secrets of this stuff. They all do the same thing. Now, there's your picture of heating oil. Now, with it's done very well today. With crude oil backing off, you can see this pulled back this morning and had a pretty good run. It looks like the first pullback was just about exactly 382, and well, there it is right there, 382, and you had another one right here. Let's see if that one worked. That was even a better one to look at because that took longer to complete, and you can see that one went exactly to 382, so we're still going higher in the heating oil, but you know, the crude oil is not doing too much. Okay, so we got those two out of the way. Let me get this out of the way here, this out of the way here. We got a question about Caterpillar, so bear with me here. And we'll get Caterpillar. Then I'll do live cattle right after that because I wanted to be a seller of live cattle today. And I'm spending so much time on the currencies, the metals, and the other stuff that I've disregarded it. Okay, here's a Caterpillar. And it's another one in the Dow, and it's up pretty good today. So that's another reason why this is the 500. I think this is the third one. The first is Goldman Sachs. Second is Microsoft, and the third is Caterpillar. And you can see Caterpillar is up about 10 points. That's another reason why the Dow is so very, very strong. Looking at this on the daily, you can see here we're way up here to 1.618 expansion. So this is the area where it should be topping. But, you know, like we say, sometimes they fail. And we had a couple of gaps in here that had to be filled. But that's where it's at right now. It's made a 1.618 expansion of that move right there. Now we'll take a look at the live cattle. I was going to sell those today and I forgot. Let's see how it would have worked out. I was going to sell them at $39.90. Let's take a look at the live cattle. We're going to look at the these are going to be October cattle because they're still the lead for me. So there's where we are. And I would have lost on this one because, well, let's see where we are here. This is a 60-minute chart. And I was going to sell at $39.90, so I'd still be in it, but have a loss. So I would have been selling right there at around $39.90. Wow, it came down pretty good this morning. Let's just look at this on a smaller time frame. I didn't do it, but there was my sell. It was going to be at $39.90, which would have been right there. And then it backed off a little bit. Uh-oh, I could see where I would have been very scared when we came right down to the old 382. Where's it at? There's your strong trending market, 382 again. Here's another one right here. Watch this one. I'll bet you this one's going to be 382 off of this last one. Let's just double check. Because when you got strong trending markets, guess what you got? This is your ace in the hole, folks. 62 years in the business, this is about as good as it gets. If you just traded 382, you make a nice living. Better than a PhD, it's better than an MD, and you don't have to work for anybody else. The trouble is, it's only right about 60% of the time. That's what you have to be afraid of, okay? Now, take one last look here at Goldman Sachs because the earnings are going to come out tomorrow and it's going to be a whiz bang, like it always is. It always gets all the news. So let's get it up here, the really small time frame, so we can see how we're doing so far. Okay, there's our big gap up. At a tiny little pullback in here. This is where we are right now. Looking at it on the hourly chart, you can see here that it's had a big drop from its high. So the high was at 825, all right? And this is the rally. This is why the Dow's up so much, because this gapped up a lot, all right? Let's see how high it got from this level right here to that level right there. It went to the 382 so far, and now it's backed off from that. And what has the Dow been doing? It's been backing off too. You can see we've already come off from the 382. That's mainly because of Goldman Sachs. That's why you got to pay attention to that stock, because it's a big one. As they used to say at Eli Lilly, that's the big daddy rabbit, the one that makes all the decisions. But this has been a good pattern. I think we got a long way to go, and we're going to find out here what this market's going to have for us for the rest of the week. But we'll be here trying to give you the best information, that we possibly can. When we come back to the last part of the break, I want to talk to you about one.
If you're looking for potential trading setups in the stock market, then Rocket Equities and Options Report is a newsletter you should try. Tommy O'Brien delivers options and equity trades when the markets present them, using a combination of fundamentals and technicals. Sign up for Rocket Equities and Options Report today with a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have nothing to risk. For all the details and to start your subscription today, visit the front page of TFNN.com. TFNN, educating investors.
In the world of trading, only a few names stand out like Larry Pesavento. A pro's pro with over 50 years of experience, Larry has seen it all. A former Chicago Mercantile Exchange member, Larry has authored 10 books and trained over 1,000 traders with his unmatched expertise. Introducing Fibonacci 24/7, Larry Pesavento's daily trading service that turns the complexity of markets into opportunities. Published every Sunday, receive a comprehensive report packed with detailed commentary, charts, and videos that illuminate the patterns shaping the markets, with updates throughout the week exclusively for subscribers. Whether through charts or videos, Larry's analysis is your roadmap to navigating the markets. You can sign up now at TFNN.com for just $97. And with all TFNN newsletters backed by a 30-day money-back guarantee, you have nothing to risk. For all the details, visit TFNN.com. You'll find Fibonacci 24/7 right under the newsletters tab.
Steve Rhodes started his trading career as a student almost 20 years ago, and the student has now become the master. Steve won the prestigious Timer of the Year award in 2018 and barely missed that mark again in 2019, finishing at number 2 for the year. An amazing accomplishment. Steve Rhodes is committed to sharing his techniques and knowledge with anyone who wants to learn, and he shares his vast amount of trading knowledge every day in his Mastering Probability newsletter. Steve's award-winning newsletter, Mastering Probability, is delivered every trading day with updates throughout the afternoon. Sign up for Steve's market newsletter, Mastering Probability, and you'll receive access to 7 of Steve's educational webinars absolutely free. At TFNN, all our newsletters come with a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have absolutely nothing to worry about. Visit TFNN.com and try Mastering Probability 30 days risk-free today. TFNN, educating investors.
TFNN has launched the Tiger's Den, hosted at Discord. TFNN has been educating traders for more than 20 years with live programming hosted by a variety of professional traders during market hours. The Tiger's Den, available to all tigers and tigresses for just $1 for the year. There's no catch or added costs when you join our community of traders. Sign up today and become a part of this educational community of traders. Just visit the front page of TFNN.com.
Don't forget, you can listen to TFNN live on your mobile device 24 hours per day. Go to TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV. That's TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV.
Okay, folks, this is the Canadian dollar. We're making a weekly 382 retracement today. It's now 30 pips, actually 40 pips from the high that it made. But that's where I would be shorting the Canadian dollar here. So we're going to see how this works out. But it's exactly what you're looking for. And remember, Bartley said, when you're looking for a trade, find the first A, B, C, D in a bear market and sell that. There's your A, B, C, D, and there it is right there. Okay, you'll be able to see it right here. I'm going to blow it up here for just a second so we can draw it in for you. There's your high, that's your X. There's your A, B, C, and D, and there it is right there. And you can see it matches up just absolutely perfectly. So I'd be looking to sell. Sell the Canadian dollar and put your stop about 60 points above here. So you're risking about $600, but your first profit objective would be well over 1,000. It's been rallying now, folks, since July, and that's a long time. It's been rallying 1, 2, 3, 4 months in a bear market, and that's where it is right now. The exact 382 today was it, right on the money. There was the high of the day, 104.349. We're trading 143.06. So that's what I'm paying attention to today. If you want to look at that for a potential trade, because it should have a lot in it. Your risk is only about $500, and the profit objective, a minimum profit objective, we'll get this up on the hourly, and you'll see your minimum profit objective, minimum, would be the 382 of this move right here. Okay, and that would be down right about there, about 130, 139. That's well over $1,500. So you're only risking about $500 to make 15. That makes it a pretty good intelligent risk speculation, as they say in the trade. So we're going to see you tomorrow. Hopefully we'll have Mike Moore as our guest. We've got 34 seconds. That's a lifetime in Radioville. And we're going to take a look at this one here was semiconductor. Look at this. It had a big drop here. Look where we come back already. This is Taiwan Semiconductor. There's the big drop, and look where it's rallied back to already. Boy, this has got a lot of power, folks. That's why these NASDAQ stocks have been going crazy to the upside. So we'll see you on the flip side tomorrow, and may God bless.